with distribution of hospitality-related products. And for this lesson, okay, we'll be talking mostly about hotel, but also airline and car rental products. Food service items are not yet included in this picture because they're not so prevalent and distributed electronically yet. If you come back as guest speakers in about 2 years or after you graduate, they will probably at that time be included in this type of lesson. Right now, we have a few intermediaries that allow you to distribute food, which are a restaurant, but they're not ingrained in the fabric of the society as these distributors are for hotels, airlines, and car rental companies. Make sense? That's why we're not discussing food service, particularly in this lesson, and we're doing that on purpose because they're not as prevalent. We can't really generalize anything about them right now. My goal for today is for you to understand how global distribution works. Okay? How, for example, when you book a hotel room on a site like Expedia, you should know how that inventory got there. Okay? That's really important. I also want you to know the role of global distribution systems such as Sabre. What do they do? What is their role? How do they change the overall strategy of hotels and restaurants and so on? In the second part of this class today, I want you to get a little bit more insight into how to eventually develop on these strategies. Okay? If you are a hotel or car rental company, how would you create a distribution strategy that allows you to actually be proficient to achieve your strategic goals? And we'll look at the most common trends in the development of global distribution systems. All right, you with me so far? Perfect. Marketing divides the actions of a company, they put them under four buckets basically, right? What should distribution do? Or place, they call it, right? You have to have some mechanism by which a service can get in contact with the customers of that service. But for the most part, in services, we are delivering the service to the customer, right? In most situations, although there are specific cases of services where there's a common understanding between the customer and the service provider on how the service should be provided, right? And those are changes. For example, the service of education, you guys come to campus to attend this class in the classroom, right? Although there are different models right now where you can get into a hybrid class, and some of the interactions will be happening in class and some of them online, or you can take a full online course, which everything will happen online, right? So with hotel and car rental and airline services, the logic is very similar. You have to figure out a way to place the product in the hands of the consumer, right? And in the past, it used to be the travel agency. Now, it's something that replaced the travel agency, and that is the online travel agency, or the brand.com website, the storefront website of a company, or the app of the company, right? In the absence of just calling the company or walking into a hotel. So to come back to our logic, distribution is the marketing function that puts the customer in contact with the product or the service. We call it experience rather in hospitality, right? Because it's more than just a service. It's a combination of a hard and soft product that contributes to the development of this experience. And it's a part of what we call the 4 Ps of marketing, right? Marketing is one of the primary functions of a business, along with finance, with human resources, and basically manufacturing. So the marketing function puts the customer in touch with the product, and again, as a function of a company, it's part of the marketing mix of a company. Now, it's important to recognize the notion of marketing mix because a company can change. I'm going to zoom into this part. A company can change the amount of effort they put into these 4 areas, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So the companies, they say, I'm going to focus mostly on developing the product. And then I'm not going to have any more money left for promotion, right? No advertising, no PR, maybe a social media page, but nothing exciting there, right? I just don't have the money to do this. I'm going to spend all the money making the best product, but the product is going to be so good that it will speak for itself. Okay? I don't need to promote my product. There's a bunch of companies who do this you'll never see them promoting. I think one of them is REI, right, the outdoor company. They state that instead of putting money in advertising, they'll focus more on the products itself that they sell and rewarding their employees, right? So instead of having a large marketing budget, they'll turn that funding into paying the employees more, giving them more benefits, and in return, they'll have better employees, which will create a better experience for the customers. Make sense? Other companies say, you know what? We will put a lot of money in promotion. We will promote the product, especially when the products are commoditized, right? When they're very, very similar to the products of competitors, okay? And it will say, hey, promotion is important for us. We need to send the word out. And the more and the better promotion that we do, the better it is, right? So, reminds me of Geico commercials, right? Have you ever seen Geico commercials? Right, they're pretty funny. We tend to remember them, right? There's always something going on. It's always funny, and that's how they build their brand awareness and so on. In the hospitality industry, so we call it place or distribution. And for us in hospitality, we should recognize that it applies mostly to hotel, air travel, and car rental products or inventory. We call these products inventory. We sell them out to the consumers. We also have to recognize that it's one of probably the most complex aspects of hospitality, and it's complex because there's so many players involved, okay? Especially with the development of the internet, there's so many players involved with that. Because it's so complex, we're likely to see a lot of technology application in the area of distribution, right? We'll see new distribution channels, new types of sales outlets. Basically, we'll see travel being sold everywhere, right? There's a variety of outlets. If you go to a meta search engine, search for, I don't know, hotel for this weekend in Dallas, there's a lot of options where you can buy this deal, right? And you only need one, one stay basically, but you'll find that stay, that product available in many, many, many retail environments. Make sense so far? Cool. So now, that complexity creates a lot of strategizing, right? It's important to strategize because of this complexity, because of the technology aspect. And we have this complicated picture. I'm going to try to make it very simple for us to understand, okay? So, let's focus here. And I'm just going to make these blocks. Focus on these blocks one by one. If you are a hotel, okay? If you are a hotel, you most likely are going to have a property management system. Correct so far? Yes. Correct. Can it be installed on the local computers, or can it be in the cloud?
Either.
Can be either one, okay? So either option is acceptable. So you will have hotels, and sometimes you have these central reservation systems of multiple hotels belonging to the same brand, right? So for example, a Hilton property like this one has its own property management system, right? They have OnQ, so you can interface it with other properties, but even hotels that don't use this kind of system, they still interface at the level of the brand. For example, a Courtyard by Marriott will eventually interface its inventory at the level of the Courtyard brand without the Courtyard hotels, right? So that creates the central reservation system, okay, at the level of the brand. So you have Marriott, IHG, you have Hilton, Hyatt, a lot of these hotel retailers. I'm just gonna color it like this, so we know we got rid of it, okay? And then now we'll just call it hotels. Can you see it? You can see it, that's fine. All right. Just make it slightly bigger. So the hotels are here. Now, if you are a hotel, what is the most direct way in which you can sell your products to the consumers?
Your brand website?
Right. In the absence of a walk-in, that's the clearest way in which you can sell directly to the consumers, right? So the most direct distribution path is to go on this cell right here. Hotel chain websites, and I will add apps in there. Okay? Hilton.com, Marriott.com, Starwood doesn't exist because it's part of Marriott right now. But all of these hotels have what we call a brand.com component. Correct so far? That's the simplest way to sell to the market, right? Through this direct path right here. Okay? And from here, consumers, especially those who are loyal, know where to find us. And they'll go on a tablet or a phone or on the website, they will find these brand.com websites or apps. Correct so far? Now, can companies do this? Sell only or predominantly through this channel? Yeah, this course here going from hotel to the website, that is called, can a company do this?
Yes.
Can they do it sustainably? No, okay? They will try to do it. That's the most advantageous way in which they can distribute their products, right? It's the least cost, it's the most direct engagement with the customers, and it facilitates what we discussed last time, right? Remember, we have to focus on relationships, okay? So that's what facilitates relationships. Getting the customers to come back willingly to the websites. The customers have to first be aware of the site, and they'll go there. You have to download the app and so on. But it's not possible to sell only through brand.com, right? So they will sell inventory through other retail places, right? The retailer is a company, remember, that sells directly to the ultimate consumer, like people like you and me, okay? So now, the company has to push the inventory further, okay, to other companies in order for companies in this cell, online travel agencies, to receive that inventory. Most likely, the travel agents will interface with multiple global distribution systems that in their turn, they receive the inventory from the hotels, right? So now, the hotel has to push inventory to an intermediary called Global Distribution System, and this is where Sabre comes into play. Now, Sabre will receive inventory from Hilton, from Marriott, from Hyatt, from everybody, maybe except for Fairmont, and maybe except for Southwest Airlines in the airline industry. But we'll receive inventory from a lot of these folks, and then we'll push it further like this to the online travel agents. Now, if you are a travel agency, like Expedia, where you can start your own company, right? If you want to start a new travel agency, right now you'll have to be on blockchain, right? You'll be awesome, an awesome idea to develop as a business, right? So you start your own company, most likely you're gonna go through a GDS, that's where you get your inventory. The GDS is a wholesaler. They accumulate inventory from multiple inventory providers, and then they resell it to other businesses that can sell it directly to the customers, right? So the GDSs receive inventory from hotels, move them to online travel agencies, okay? Now, so far we discussed only two retail places, the brand.com site, the storefront websites, and the online travel agencies. But can we find travel products on other platforms than travel agencies?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Where can we find it? On different websites such as Yahoo, right? Google now has an interface that sells retail or redirects you and stuff like that, right? So there can be on a variety of consumer sites. There can be even on brand.com sites of other companies. So for example, UnitedAirlines.com, okay? Or let's just say, stick with AmericanAirlines.com. What kind of airline inventory will they sell to you?
Theirs?
Only theirs. Very true. Very true. Only their inventory. It makes no sense for them to sell the inventory of competitors. They will sell their own inventory and the inventory of the companies that partner with them. In terms of airline inventory, which is their core business, they will sell you only their own inventory. Okay? But can AmericanAirlines.com as a website, can they sell you hotel rooms?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can, right? From which hotels? Hotels that are partner, or even hotels that want to sell to those customers that frequent AmericanAirlines.com, right? So in terms of hotels, there are not a lot of restrictions, right? In terms of airline inventory, yeah, they don't want to bring United inventory on the website, of course. But in terms of hotels, they will sell Marriott rooms, they will sell, Hyatt rooms, pretty much a lot of. So they will bring inventory from the same global distribution systems like Sabre or Galileo or so on, right? From these wholesalers. There are also some corporate websites. So in many cases, GDSs fulfill this central intermediary role by moving inventory to all the retailers. Make sense? Right, so we have two clear paths, right? Remember? One path going directly from hotels to their own websites and apps, selling to consumers. The second path going through a GDS into online travel agencies, other websites, retail and corporate websites and so on, right? So two clear paths, okay? Sometimes we have these specialized travel agents that, go get direct inventory from GDSs, but that's a different story. They're like specialized in health tourism or specific destinations or purposes and so on. We have all these retail layer. Retail means you as a customer can buy the product and use it, right? You can buy an airline ticket, you can buy a hotel room and stuff like that directly from all of these websites located here, right? So from all of these websites at the retail level you can buy as a consumer. Now, how do we as consumers hear about these retail spaces? How do we hear about Orbitz or Hotwire or Expedia? We hear from organic searches or from the marketing strategies. So that's what these arrows mean. As customers, we hear about them. That's how we arrive at the retail, right? And then you have group referrals, booking sites, business travelers that go directly to the hotels and so on, so that we eliminated this layer as well, right? There's one more cell that we haven't talked about, is the switch and channel management companies. That's where the opportunities in IT reside. Think about this, okay? Everything that we do in business relates to a database. We store information about customers, rates, inventories, types of rooms, everything. We store them in these databases, right? And then we'll build websites that take information from this database, communicate in real time with the database, and display that stuff online. Now, think about Marriott. Do you think the Marriott structure of its database will match the same structure of Hilton database? Most likely not, okay? So Marriott creates its own database based on their own logic. Hilton creates their own database with their logic. Hyatt creates their own, and so on, right? So many hotels, and they have their own database logic or structures, okay? Their property management system, right? Their property management systems may be also different in the way they process and record the data. So therefore, when data leaves these systems, you will have a multitude of formats, okay? And so when Sabre or Amadeus or any of these companies receives data, inventory data from all of this variety of PMS systems and hotels and so on, so they have to figure out a way to transform the data so that it's all meaning the same thing, right? So they can push it further to the travel agents. So that's what these companies do. Basically they switch the format of the data, and they manage what kind of inventory goes where and at what rate and how basically the information comes back and so on. It's also important to recognize the role of the management company, the channel management companies from the hotel's point of view. A hotel will have at their disposal the situation. Let me just draw it on a different slide. So imagine that you are this hotel, right? and you sell directly through the web or through the app. And you also sell through one GDS, like Sabre. And Sabre sells it to OTA 1, let's say Expedia. OTA 2, let's say it's Booking. OTA 3, let's say it's Hotels.com, okay? And then they want to maximize their inventory selling, so they'll send it to another GDS, which then other GDS will send it to yet other OTAs, OTA 4, OTA 5. Right? Now the hotel has only a certain number of inventory, a certain amount of inventory available in certain rates right inventory, but they'll have to manage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so forth channels every day. Manage the rates, knowing how much inventory was sold, trying to adjust, saying, hey, if I couldn't sell all the inventory here, let's say I have 10 rooms to sell here, I only sold 5, then how do I distribute these 5 rooms to be sold on the OTA side? And which OTA is likely to bring me the most revenue? So all these questions are going to be solved by better management of the channels. And there are companies that help hotels to do that with the help of artificial intelligence, machine learning. Now we have another term for it, it's called deep learning, right? So all this stuff will come into play when the complexity of managing the inventory exceeds our human capacity. A lot of Expedia, Travelocity, all these OTAs want to deal directly with hotels now. They want to bypass the GDSs, and the GDSs say, well, we're not going to let them bypass us because we are good at intermediating the transactions. We know how to deal with hotels. The only piece that is missing is a retail interface. We don't know how to sell to the consumers. But don't worry, we can learn that. It's very easy. So that's what they're doing, right? So they're trying to take a much stronger position in the market. Make sense for us? That is super cool, friends. Then let's move on to some examples of major global distribution system or GDSs are Sabre, the one that we just discussed, Galileo, WorldSpan, Travelport, Amadeus,